Actually, this month we are showcasing the Cabernet Sauvignon, which is an incredible wine. I love Cabernets, and excited to taste the Reserve and see if we're going to put together a dish. I've bought beef because I think a lot of people can do beef and love beef, and beef tenderloin, filet mignon already says c'est la fête. You know, it's something's fun going on when you spend a little bit extra, then you buy a true quality piece of meat. And we're not going to go big. It's not a giant piece of meat. If you want to take a look here, what we've got. So we've got the tenderloin. Really fun tenderloin. You want to find some nice marbling like this. Alongside of that, we've got some fresh thyme, always going with the fresh herbs. Then I went really crazy for my date night and got some morel mushrooms because we were lucky enough to find some of these. These are ridiculously expensive, but you can see just for one or two people, it's not too bad. Hanchamechi, another mushroom that's actually farmed, if you can say, grown mushroom that you can find in a lot of supermarkets now. Some chopped shallots, some green pencil asparagus. They call them pencil pretty much because of the size there.
Much like the wild ones we have.
Exactly.
Yep.
And all I've done is just poach these real quick in some hot boiling salted water for literally a minute. Pulled them out, shocked them in some ice water, then they're pretty much ready to go. I wasn't going to show you, but I'll tell you about it. This is a caramelized onion and smoked bacon puree. You cook some bacon, probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 ounces of bacon, chopped up into little pieces. Cook it in a pan, let it render out, let it really cook out a lot of its fat. So we'll cook that bacon, reduce it down, render out all that wonderful fat, and that fat's lingering around in the pan. The bacon's nice and crispy. Then we're going to throw in an entire onion sliced up real thin and let it cook with that bacon. That onion's going to absorb most of that fat, which is what I'm excited about. We're going to let that cook and caramelize. It's going to stick to the bottom of the pan. We're going to take that out, put it in a food processor, and make this in. All we did was pepper this also. You don't want to salt it because that bacon is going to bring a lot of salt to the dish. And you make this, it's almost like a paste. So,
I'd love to have a smell.
isn't that crazy? So you can smell, can you smell the sweetness of the caramelized onions? And then there's that wonderful smoky.
There's no garlic or anything in there?
No garlic.
Okay.
Smoked bacon, cooked in its own fat with that onion caramelized, so a little bit of sweetness and that wonderful smoky flavor from the bacon. Puree it in the food processor. And then we're going to, we've got a little mustard, a little bit of chicken stock for our sauce. Let's get started. We're going to cut this guy in half and get two equal sides. We're going to salt and pepper this guy. Pan over here, get that guy hot. Season both sides. Up. Now we're going to get our grapeseed oil. Once again, I use a lot of grapeseed oil because it's got a high flash point. We can get it nice and hot. We don't get to that smoking level. We get a nice sear on this guy. Then we're going to finish this guy in the oven. So we're not going to cook him too much. We're just going to sear it, keep all those wonderful flavors on the inside of that beef. One around, get some of that fat in there. Now, what are we going to be looking for in our Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon? And, I know the original. I've loved the original Cabernet Sauvignon. When I drink it, my wife loves it. That's actually one of her favorite ones at home. And we have yet to have the Reserve at home.
With the Reserve, it's about fruit, flavour, balance, and good strong tannins. Because from Cabernet, you expect tannins. So you don't want those tannins to be overbearing. They've got to be there. They've got to give the wine structure, give it length.
Fun stuff. And obviously, any other hints of anything? It's probably seen some oak, I'm assuming. Are we going to get any oakiness? Are we going to get any vanillas?
With all our reserves, there's always hints of oak, but especially black fruit, black and red fruits.
Fun.
Loaded with fruit. We do spend a lot of time, a lot of effort into getting the fruit into the wine. Growing the fruit in the field, looking after it so that we retain that fruit. It's all about delivering to the customer something they want. And really, it's flavour, it's softness, length on the palate, but most importantly, it's value for money.
Value for money is it's not a secret, and but it's something that you don't find all the time.
Not always, no. But certainly the one thing that's consistent with Yellowtail and our product.
And across the board is what I've found. I've yet to try the Reserve Cabernet. I'm excited about this. You can see on the sear on this, we get a nice sear, and you can see here where the fillet was. It's stuck to the bottom of the pan a little bit. Now see this bottom part where we seared a little bit more? This guy's not seared so well. We're going to put that guy like that. This guy's going to go on the bottom. We're going to leave that fat for just a second. Now what we're going to do is take our bacon, smoked bacon, and caramelized onion puree, and put that guy on top, up like that. And I'll have you pop that guy in the oven for a minute. And it's not going to take long at all. We're going to get rid of that fat because we got it pretty hot. We got it up there pretty hot. Now we're going to toss in a little bit of butter because I love the flavor of butter. We're going to watch that because that gets hot. The milk solids will burn, so you want to pull it away from the flame a little bit. And we're going to get our shallots in here. And we're going to let these guys cook. I'm going to turn it down a tiny bit because we don't want to burn. Shallots and onions and those guys are very, very, very bitter if you get them too dark too quick. So we're going to let those guys, give them a little toss. Keeping in mind that we've got our beef in the oven. And you know what I like about this as a reserve is, as you said, value is everything. I'm thinking reserve, special event, only on Mother's Day, only on the wedding anniversary, things like that. What are we looking on a price-wise? Price-wise?
These are around $11. The original's around $6. There's about a $5 difference. But we believe that we deliver more than adequate value at that price point. And I know, I'm confident, I can say that anybody that buys this wine will not be disappointed.
You can see we have a nice brownness to our shallots now, and you can smell that out. We're going to throw in all our mushrooms. As long as they're the same size, I'm okay with that. Otherwise, you want to be careful. Most mushrooms cook at different temperatures. So if you can't find morels and the Hantrameji like these guys, you want to be careful that at least when you slice the mushrooms, they're all the same slices. Otherwise, you're going to get a thick slice, a thin slice that gets burnt, that gets overcooked. And a lot of people overcook mushrooms too. I'm thinking we're just going to toss this in here for a second. You watch and see that's not a lot of time at all, just enough to get a little of that butter flavor, the noisette as the French say. Then we're going to pull all this out of there. And we're going to deglaze this with our chicken stock. And so anything stuck to the bottom of that pan, we're going to turn our heat up and let that boil away. Let it do its thing. All right, so our juice is reduced down. Obviously our chicken stock, you can see that's reduced down at least by pretty much a little more than half. We're gonna add a little bit of butter in here. We're just gonna heat up our asparagus that's ready to go. Go ahead and pull our beef out of the oven. I think you should be ready to roll. All right, then our sauce, what we've got going, we've got all the juice reduced down. Now we're gonna add a little bit of butter, yeah, you know me. You gotta have a little bit of butter. We're just gonna stir it in over the heat. That's gonna just a tiny bit. We don't need a lot of sauce, so there's a little bit of butter in there. Up. We're gonna toss our mushrooms back in there. Everything goes back in. I'm gonna toss a little bit more, tiny bit more chicken stock in there. Then we've got our fresh thyme. We're going to throw that in at the last second. Otherwise, it's going to turn brown and ugly, and we don't want that. We want all that wonderful flavor. We're going to salt and pepper asparagus at the last second. Can you smell that thyme cooking? A tiny bit of mustard, just a tiny bit, literally a quarter of a teaspoon. Just enough for a little tiny bite. It should work out real well. Up, put that aside. Asparagus are hot. Now we're going to take our beef. We're going to put this piece on the bottom there. Put our other guy on top. Grab our asparagus. One of these guys. Then we're going to take our sauce. Our mushrooms, just wander these guys around. Up. Just enough. And just a little bit of juice will wander down the sides. And you have poured us some of your incredible Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve. A little bit of chives on top just to make it fun. And one of these guys. Let's try the dish because that is fantastic and a special wine for a special occasion. Oh my gosh.
Cheers.
Sir,
great dish.
Doing a wonderful job. Great wine. And for $11, you can jump out of the doghouse in a big way.
Been a pleasure working
Good job.
with you.
My gosh.
Great. Well done.
Thank you. Well done to you. Thank you for bringing these to our country.